In our homeschool, we talk about transcendentals a lot. So truth, goodness, beauty. They're termed transcendentals because they transcend culture, time periods, nations. Each culture, humanity itself, is drawn to truth, goodness, and beauty. So Jonathan Edwards said that beauty should be the foundation from which our theology flows, not merely a consolation. We remember that theology means thinking about God, what we think about God, how we think about God. Okay, it's learning about God. It's the knowledge about God. That's theology. So this is this whole idea of beauty first and our theology flowing out of that. It's difficult for those of us who are brought up in a postmodern view in this Western culture. But if we go back to the age before the age of reason, and before the Enlightenment, we see ancient peoples not only viewed God as beautiful, but they could scarcely fathom beauty that didn't relate somehow to God. I'm gonna fix this real quick. But before the Enlightenment, beauty was considered sacred. It wasn't until about 1735 that we started divorcing beauty into subcategories. We started trying to define it and to categorize it and organize it, right? This is the beginning of the aesthetics movement. And then up until the Italian Renaissance, the dominant theme of art was sacred. Why? Because our ancestors understood that beauty is bound up in the sacred. Beauty is also an important part of who God is. If our idea of beauty is limited to aesthetics, then we are simply limiting ourselves and our understanding of God. The ancients often described God as other out of reverence for him. It alluded to the fact that he was supreme, indescribable. It wasn't until the Middle Ages when we started using words like transcendence and immanence to describe God. The Age of Reason tried to define God. The Age of Enlightenment, with the introduction and classification of beauty, is a science of aesthetics, with the end result being that once we defined beauty, we cut it off from its source, which was God. Okay, so beauty is now a limited concept. We find ourselves closed in instead of an expansion. The problem with this is God is inherently beautiful. Psalm 27, 4-5. Creation testifies to beauty, pointing us to God. Psalm 19. Our culture, with the rise of postmodernism, has bought the idea that truth is subjective and malleable and changeable, subject to our whims or our feelings, worse than the whims. Christians rightly often push back against this postmodern idea of malleable truth, but if we're pushing against the idea of malleable truth and